Good evening and good morning, and welcome to my first non-game Lightning Lounge stream. I'm just calling this 5.5 because it's a non-game, but we're less than 2 weeks to the beginning of college football and less than 1 month away from the beginning of the NFL. So since these two seasons are very close to each other to start, regular season wise, why not take the time in one stream predict not only the NCAA and of course the NFL season? So let's start with the NCAA, as I'm wearing my favorite team for college, Oregon. College is a lot of fun. College, we have traditions, we have everything. It's amazing. We have traditions, we have a lot of fun, 134 teams, and I'm going to put these teams kind of like the NFL in a little bit, and with some guests will be coming arrive, we will do tier makers, what I think where these teams belong. But also, earlier today, around noon, college football announced their first preseason top 25 rankings, and I kind of take a glance at it, like at least the top 10, but I have not checked the rest of the list at this point. So, without further ado, let's take a look at this, shall we? All right. So, we have number 1, Georgia and Ohio State, which comes by no surprise. They are the top teams. Georgia, of course, is one of the better teams out there. Then you have Oregon, which they have that one person after the whole voting managed to get them into number 1. Then you have Texas, and remember, Texas along with Oklahoma are now part of the Southeastern Conference, or the SEC. So with that, number 5, Alabama, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Penn State, and Michigan. Yes, the defending champions have fallen to number 9, which makes sense, which I think kind of makes sense because Jim Harbaugh's no longer there. He's head coaching at the Los Angeles Chargers. They no longer have JJ McCarthy. They do not have Blake Corum. They still have Jonathan Edwards. They still could be a good team. It's just a matter of time of can they still become that good team as they were back like last year. So, along with number 10, Florida State, which do come to think of it, for Florida State, they did get slapped 63-3 in the Orange Bowl. They were undefeated. But man, that decision of putting Bama over Florida State, even though Florida State was undefeated and Alabama lost 1 game, to me, that's kind of mind-boggling to me to see that, I will say. That is kind of mind-boggling right there. Moving along, number 11, Missouri. I love Missouri. That impressive win they pulled off in the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State. Maybe definitely low scoring, but Missouri did enough to hold off Ohio State. I really like Missouri and their quarterback, Brady Cook. And keep an eye on that receiver, Luther Burden III, that can keep making a lot of noise. They could contend with Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, and the new Texas team, of course. Number 12, Utah. Utah, the first Big 12 team to reach into the top 25 here. Utah is interesting. I really like Utah. Kyle Whittingham, great coach. Cameron Rising suffered a season-ending injury last year. They ended up finishing, I believe, 8-5, I believe. And if it wasn't for Cameron Rising's injury, they would have maybe cracked the top 10. I would believe they would have cracked the top 10. Cameron Rising is such a great quarterback. It just sucks to see a starting quarterback being hurt and inhibiting that potential offense. So I really like to see Utah make some noise this season. Number 13, LSU. And you have 14, Clemson. Clemson was meh last year. They were meh. Past recent years, they have been meh. Tennessee, number 15. Number 16, Oklahoma. Now, if you're living under a rock, Dillon Gabriel is no longer with Oklahoma. He's with the Ducks. He has transferred with Oregon, and he did not play against the Alamo Bowl against Arizona last year. Number 17, and their rival, Oklahoma State, the second Big 12 team coming in to the season against Utah, which we will talk about. We will talk more about these teams individually later. Number 18, Kansas State. Kansas State reminds me a little bit of a mixture of Ole Miss and Penn State. There are two teams that they have great potential. They have great potential, don't get me wrong. But they just never manage to get over that hump. They never do. Like, for example, Penn State last year, they lost to both Ohio State and Michigan and could not get into the CFP. They couldn't. If they would manage to beat those teams, they would have managed to make it into the college football playoffs. But at the same time, you have to think about what would happen if Georgia wins or, Alabama beating Georgia. I mean, that pretty much just shook the whole picture. And also, the winner of Washington and Oregon, whoever's the winner of that game, they managed, they were going to the CFP no matter what. But, yeah, Kansas State reminds me of Penn State and Ole Miss a bit. But I think Kansas State could be good. We'll talk more about them later. Number 19, Miami. I'm just going to say that play against Georgia Tech. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. All right, let's get into the 20s. Number 20, Texas A&M. Interesting placement for Texas A&M. 21, Arizona. I love Arizona. Like, I think they're underrated. I think not a lot of people are talking about Arizona a lot. And guess what? I will stream on September 13th, I believe, between Arizona and Kansas State, because I think that is a fun game to watch. And in general, I think the Pac-12 is the most fun conference in NCAA. I really think that. All right, we have 4 more rankings left. So number 22 is Kansas. All right, Kansas. Now that is a true underdog you want to talk about here. I think Lance Leopold is doing a great job. Yes, he had a slow start going 2-10 next season, but, and that's a big but I still think, but he managed to improve him from 2-10 to 6-7, and now they finished the season 9-5. And I think that is really good improvement from Lance Leopold. If Jalen Daniels can stay healthy for Kansas, I would think Kansas can sneak into the conversation of the CFP closer. All right, number 20, 23, USC. USC at 23. No longer Caleb Williams. They went 7-5 last year. Big regret. USC last year suffered a big regression last year with Caleb Williams, mind you. They suffered a big regression. Big time. Big time. And that's all I got to say. I think, USC ranked low. And guess what? That's your ranking matchup. LSU versus USC. I will also be streaming that game on September 1st in week 1. All right, number 24, NC State. NC State is right there. It's always right there. And number 25, Iowa. Remember, we've been memeing about Iowa. Iowa was one of these teams that has great defense. But, oh my gosh, their offense was so atrocious. so freaking atrocious. So atrocious. And then who received other votes? We had Louisville, Virginia Tech, Boise State, SMU. By the way, SMU is now part of the ACC. They are the new members of the Power 5 conference. Iowa State, Liberty, Washington. Yeah, it's weird seeing Washington going from being the number 2 team last year to now unranked, which I could see why it can make sense because they lost a lot of key pieces. Kalen DeBoer is now teaching Alabama. Excuse me. Kalen DeBoer is coaching Alabama. They lost Michael Penix. They do not have Rome Odunze and other top third receivers. They got to work from the bottom up. And they're going to be head coached by a former Arizona coach that did really well last year with Arizona, Jedd Fisch. Jedd Fisch is the new head coach. And then you have West Virginia, Memphis, Nebraska, Wisconsin, UTSA, Tulane, Appalachian State, Kentucky, Auburn, and that one vote for Colo freaking Rado. I still think they're not going to get that hype they needed. They were hyped they were hyped a lot last year. Big time. They were hyped. Thank you, Oregon and Stanford, for freaking exposing them. All right. Now, let's see, remove that. And I am going to have my little tier list of here. Tier list. All right. So, what I have here is I have conference champions, CFP contenders, underdog mentality, group of 5 teams that can sneak their way to the CFP because you can guarantee be more than one. They can guarantee one team that will be there, or teams are just mediocrity or worse. So, which conference should we talk about? Who should we talk about? Yeah, go Ducks. Yeah, there you go. Go Ducks. You know what? Since you said go Ducks, Anthony, let's talk about the Ducks. Let's talk about the Big Ten first. Big Ten's a tough competition. Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Michigan, Wisconsin could be tough as well. Rutgers is thinking they're becoming underdogs. They finished 7-6 last year. They can be tough. It's a tough conference. But what's tougher here is who is going to be a champion? Who is it? And here's the thing. Oregon has to play both Ohio State and Michigan. So that's a little tough stretch right there. Excuse me. And then you also have Ohio State, of course. I mean, they're one of the best teams. They're number 2. But they're kind of not winning games. They're not winning. Like that game against Missouri. The game against Missouri, for example, they did not manage to win that game. So I would say my conference champions could be Ohio State for this year for the Big Ten. But I would not say who they were up against because that's a very tough call to pick. It could be them versus Penn State, them versus Oregon, them versus Michigan. Again, it's tough. I should feel like Oregon, they're a really good team, but can they beat Ohio State again like they did in 2021? Because that was a good game back then. All right, let's talk about the SEC, Southeastern Conference. Alabama, I mean, that is a big mystery. Can Kalen DeBoer replicate what Nick Saban's been doing for a long, long time? Georgia, they are by far the best team. Carson Beck with quarterback. Then you have Texas, and you have Texas into the mix. in just Florida. Florida has probably the toughest schedule, and I will show you guys why they have the toughest schedule. Ole Miss, LSU, but I feel like, oh, and they're starting running back for Texas, CJ Baxter. He is out for the season, so that is a injury you do not want to have for Texas. I would say the conference champions could be Georgia for the SEC, but it could be anybody at that point. Let's do the Big 12. Big 12 is hard because now you don't have to have because now you no longer have Oklahoma and Texas into the conversation. No longer. But here are my bigger threats that could be a champion in the Big 12. Utah could be a champion. Oklahoma State could be a champion. Heck, Kansas can be a champion. Kansas State right here could be a champion. It's a free-for-all. It is a freaking free-for-all. And I say maybe the champion, if things go right, I say Utah. I say Utah could be a champion here for the Big 12. And then for the ACC. Oh, hold on. Time out. Before we go to the ACC, there's 4 new teams now in the Big 12, if you're not aware. Utah's one of them. Then Colorado, Arizona, and Arizona State are new members of the Big 12. And then for the SEC, for the ACC, I mentioned SMU in there. But also, there's, where are you at? There's California. I know, it's weird, but it is what it is. And Stanford, which, again, weird, because they do not have those TV deals. But it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. So, Florida State could replicate it. North Carolina, maybe. I mean, they do no longer have Drake Mace, so probably not. NC State has been a consistent contender. Louisville can try their best to get back into the mix. But I would probably say probably Florida State again. Tough. And Virginia Tech right here is on the rise as well. Kyron Drones is a good quarterback. The quarterback that was on Clemson and Oregon State is now their quarterback. I think he can do well. Mike Norvell, he has a good coach. Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, I'm going to put Florida State right there as conference champions. All right, let's talk about teams that could be CFP contenders. Let's get the ones out of the way first, because we kind of know who can be. Alabama's obviously there. Same with Oregon. Same with Texas. Same with Penn State and Ole Miss. Michigan, if things gone right. Because even with Jim Harbaugh, that got suspended for quite a few games last year, he was still finding ways to win games. He was finding ways to win new games. Who else could be good? Notre Dame maybe can be up there if things gone right. Tough, man. It is tough. Well, I have my mind. Let's talk about the group of 5 teams. Teams are in the MAC Conference, the American Conference, Sun Belt, Conference USA, and Mountain West. Let's talk about that real quick. A lot of people were talking about Boise State being up there. A lot of people saying Boise State. But there is one team that keep always having in my mind that I think that can rock the competition. And they play against If Florida State keeps winning a top 10 team, that team's Memphis. Memphis has always been consistently well in the American Conference. They're always a threat there. Let's see. Going back to CFP contenders. Oh, definitely Missouri. Missouri definitely up there. Another team that was good. Tulane. I'm surprised it did not beat Virginia Tech. I thought in the Military Bowl against Virginia Tech, Tulane was going to beat them to a bloody pulp. I thought they were going to do that. Let's see. What other teams group of 5 teams can make it? There were a good amount of Mountain West teams and they did well. UNLV did well. Fresno State head coach stepped down. He stepped down for the game, for the season. So that's unfortunate. What's another good group of 5 team? Who am I missing? Oh, right. Liberty, of course, that undefeated regular season last year by getting slapped by Oregon. But still, great season. James Madison can definitely make some noise. But it's probably at the same time, it will be tough because Kurt Cignetti is now coaching Indiana. He's head coaching Indiana. Let's see here. Who else? Maybe. Was UTSA good? But that's kind of what I think, like, when it comes to a group of 5 teams. All right, I want to talk about that underdog mentality. Teams, which is the team that could be definitely great contenders. Teams that could be great contenders. They could be contenders, but they have to work really freaking hard. And I want to try to go for like a deeper dive to those teams. For example, I think Arizona has that underdog mentality. I think. Noah Fafita is a great quarterback, and he's surrounded by great receivers. However, the head coach of Washington is their former head coach, Jed Fish. Arizona's new head coach, his name is Brent Brennan. And Brent Brennan was the head coach of San Jose State. And he did meh. Let's just put it that way. He did meh. So he did meh. But at the same time, Arizona reminds me of what Oregon did in 2013, 2014 with Marcus Mariota when Chip Kelly stepped down. When Chip Kelly stepped out of Oregon to coach the Eagles, and even with Mark Helfrich as the head coach with Marcus Mariota, they were still winning games, and heck, they even make a national title appearance. So I feel like Arizona can be the same case as 2013 and 14 Oregon Ducks. I feel like that underdog mentality. You know what? For all the teams that are underdog mentality, let's take a look at their schedule. I want to see how their schedule plays out. See if their ways could be good, bad, or heck, even ugly. All right. So let's take a look. All right, let's share this tab then. All right. New Mexico, and Arizona. They have 2 big tests back to back. 2 big tests back to back. Kansas State and Utah. That's a good matchup right here for Arizona, Kansas State, and Utah. Both ranked teams, if they keep on winning and keep doing what they do best. It's a tough stretch right there for Utah. And then they have Texas Tech, BYU, Colorado, West Virginia, UCF, Houston, TCU, and finishing off at the Duel of the Desert against Arizona State. So I feel like their schedule could be their schedule's all right. It's not really tough, but not really easy. I mean, what's really tough, in my opinion, is, of course, the Duel of the Desert for Arizona, because rivalry week games can be anybody's game. Anybody at anyone. Kansas State is that underdog team. I will get to them in a minute. And same for Utah. So that's why I put them there. So, next, what I want to do, the next team, Kansas. Kansas saying they could be a good team, but are they good enough to be contending into the college football playoffs or just be in contention of that title? I would say maybe. I would say, you know what? Maybe they can. You may never know. Because when I looked at Kansas' schedule, as I tried to prep for the stream, I feel like Kansas could have it just a little easy. A little easy. What do we say this? FCS team of Lindenwood, Illinois, UNLV, a team they beat in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, West Virginia, TCU, Arizona State, Houston, Kansas State, then Iowa State, BYU, Colorado, and Baylor. Their only ranked opponent is Kansas State. And I don't even know when's the last time we have seen Kansas beating Kansas State. Most of these matchups belong to Kansas State. This is the biggest threat for Kansas, in my opinion. If they can beat Kansas State, they can run it. No, they can absolutely run it. And Lance Leopold is doing a great job. My other team, like I said, Kansas State. I actually had a guy. There's a guy on my TikTok page. If you have not followed me on TikTok, feel free to do so at Lightning Jr. One of the comments had a hot take on his team, saying that Kansas State will finish the top 10. And I have yet to see their full schedule. So, let's take a closer look at their schedule. You have UT Martin. Tulane is not a bad team. They're a good team. A great group of 5 team. Then I mentioned that game against Arizona. That game is going to be worth the hype. BYU. Oklahoma State, that's a tough game there. Colorado. West Virginia. They played Kansas. Wow, so they already had to play tough opponents there. Cincinnati and Iowa State. I feel like for Kansas State, maybe they kind of have maybe like the middle, but more on the harder side of the schedule. Arizona, Oklahoma State, and Kansas are not easy opponents. So that's why I have put Kansas State right there. Wasn't another good underdog to be in this. They won't be, but I'm a fan of Rutgers. I am a fan of what Rutgers has been doing. Finished 7-6. Hopefully I just hope that they can be better than 7-6. Not really be like championship contenders, but if they can finish better than 7-6, oh yeah, they can be in that game. They can be they have a better team in the future. Let's see. I feel like if things gone right, like conference championship wise, maybe Virginia Tech could sneak into the conversation. I think Kyron Jones is a great quarterback. I mean, at the last bit of games, he really showed some promise. Mediocre. All right. You know what? I think that's kind of what I have at the moment. I'm not going to do all the teams there. That would be way too freaking long. Let's go mediocre or worse. Colorado's on there. It's not because I hate Colorado. It's just, I don't know. I just don't get the hype from them. You know, I just don't get all that hype. And to be honest, I'm glad when Oregon and Stanford exposed them. I'm glad they did. It's just right now I just still think they're just not ready. They need time. They can't rush it. They need more time. So that's why Colorado, in my opinion, is on here. I mean, let's see what other team could be worse. I feel like USC could be mediocre or worse. More, not the worst status, but more mediocre, like around like a 7-5 type of season again, because no Caleb Williams and their defense. No, because the reason why USC was so awful did not do really well last year as they hoped to, was because their defense was so freaking awful. It's the same. It's like the opposite of Iowa. Which I think could be mediocre too. With USC, you have great offense, but you have awful defense. Reminds me a lot of 2015 Oregon. It was a bad experience. Then if you look at Iowa last year, great offense, great defense, but not a great offense. So they belong into that category of mediocrity. Let's see. What's another team that could be mediocre or worse that I should be keeping an eye on? I don't know. But I feel like that's kind of what I have for the college football playoffs at the moment. These are my predictions of who's going to win their respective Power 4 conferences and college football contenders. Group of 5 teams that can potentially make it to the conference, into the college football playoffs, and some teams that think that I believe they are mediocre. But before I talk about the NFL, I want you guys to look at this stadium. This is Northwestern. So if you guys don't know, Northwestern has their stadium, Ryan Field, I believe that's the name. They are having the stadium up, which is now being renamed, yeah. But this is like one of the smallest Power 5 standings, all right? So let me show you some couple pictures, all right? I'm going to show you guys a couple pictures of Northwestern real quick. So this here was their old stadium. This was Ryan Field. I mean, look, obviously from the picture, kind of empty right there, but they're definitely getting a better stadium, which I agree that they do need a better stadium. However, what this is what they have to play until their stadium gets fixed. Let me see if I can find a good picture. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. All right. Let me share again. Oh, come on. I'm trying to figure out why is it not letting me screen share? Oh, never mind. I'm stupid. Oh, I'm so stupid. But anyways, look at this. This is what Northwestern needs to play. Look at this. This is what they will have to play on for a while. I mean, it's nothing they can do, but man, for like Power 5 standpoint, it's like at least you have the coast here. At least. But man, wow. That was, but yeah, that's that. All right. Well, the CFP is done. The college football playoffs is done. But you know what time it is. And I just hit my hand. Ow. That'll hurt, but still, ow. It is time to talk about the NFL. It's NFL time. And I do have that guest and I do have a guest with me tonight. He is a diehard Seattle Seahawks fan, but also in the world of the United Football League, or the UFL, he's also a diehard Stallions fan. And he would not shut up about how great that team is. So, without further ado, allow me to introduce you to Random Guy. Hey, Random. How's it going? Looks like he's not ready yet. Let's see. He's ready yet. If not, then that's okay. What do we think about okay, so speaking of the Jets, the American what you call it? The Jets had all right, you want to get this out of the way. Hassan Reddick. I don't know what situation that we have with him. We just could not find a contract agreement with him. Like, because it's like Antonio Brown all over. It's like we're having Antonio Brown all over again. And to be honest, it kind of frustrates me a little bit. I really do not like it. Like Hassan Reddick, I mean, he's a great player, but it's like we're going for a reach with this kid. You know? We're going for a reach with him. So it's like, what can we do to help him to develop as a better player? What can we do about it? Like, I don't understand. But it's just the Jets at this point. I mean, the Jets, they have not been into the playoffs 2010. Now they have the longest, they have been holding the longest playoff drought for a while now, since 2010. It's frustrating. I am just beyond mad about this Jets thing. Like, as much I love, like, I admire the team, I love the team. It's like the same dang thing over and over again. It's like a constant cycle. But I'm gonna bring you another guest. He's also a Seahawks fan, but he's also a Bengal fan, and I'm gonna introduce you guys to Gavin. Hey, Gavin, how's it going?
Hello. Can y'all hear me okay?
I can hear you fine and clear.
All right, cool. Just making sure that this is gonna work.
All right. How are you doing?
Doing well. I saw that you saw the whole Hassan Reddick thing today with the general manager was saying that he's not going to be traded.
That's just a whole debacle, man. I just
Dude,
don't
it's
know.
insane.
It's insane. It's like we literally traded a potential third round pick for this guy, and he has yet to play. I mean, it's better than the second, but come on. It's like we lost a third round pick, and he didn't even play. It's frustrating.
It is.
It is so beyond frustrating. So, how about your team? How's the Seahawks been doing?
Doing well. The preseason game yesterday, it was a nice when the defense played extremely well. The Chargers didn't have any of their starters in, but we managed to like hold down the second and third string fairly well. The new defense under Mike McDonald, which I was thoroughly impressed watching over. This is going to be a completely new team from the last 10 years at the very least.
Yeah, first time you have a new head coach since Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll came in 2010.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, is Pete Carroll good enough as a head coach, or what was going on? Like, is Geno Smith a potential starting quarterback for the team?" There's just a lot of question marks coming in to the season. So
Yeah.
it's like juggling. You're just juggling up in the air, no matter how much you can do. Okay, let me do this real quick. I hate these advertisements on here. I'm gonna try to do the best as I can with this. Oh, man, I had it. I had a good frame. There we go. Okay, I need to present. All right. Here I have there we go. So I have a tier list that I go by who my division champions are, who are the wild card teams, who can fight for wild card. They're mediocre at best, and the teams that are tanking. So as of right now, and you can have your thoughts, and we can all have our thoughts on it too. Let's start with division champions, starting from AFC East to West, and then NFC from East to West. So let's start with the AFC East. What do you think about the AFC East, Gavin?
It's the Dolphins' division to lose, 100%. The Jets, they can maybe get 9 wins, but they're not good. I don't really see them doing that. The Patriots are a completely brand new team, so they have a lot to do. The Bills lost a lot of their team.
They lost a lot of key players.
Whatever. So, I mean, they can maybe win it because they still got Josh Allen, but it's still the Dolphins' division to lose. They have all the pieces right there. If they don't win the division this year, there's a lot of question marks going down regarding either Tua Mike McDonald or not Mike McDonald, whatever. But it all just depends.
Yeah. I feel like it's a toss up. I feel like for the AFC East, it's a toss up between the Dolphins and the Bills. Like Jets, I don't know what the Jets are doing. I'm still expecting them to 7-10 record. You can never change my mind about that. And the Patriots are in the middle of a rebuild. Like they're rebuilding. But what I think just by an edge, I do think the Dolphins can win the East for the first time since 2008. I think they can. They have more offensive weapons than the Bills have. And they got more pieces on defense. Well, except for Shaq Barrett, because Shaq Barrett has recently retired to focus on his family, and we all respect that. But even without him, the Dolphins can still be a division champion team. Moving on to the AFC North, and I think this is the toughest division of all the 8 divisions out there, in my opinion. But yeah, because last year, all 4 teams finished over 500 record. And the Ravens ended up winning that division, but all 4 teams were close for what were fighting for what they were wildcard teams, but they were also fighting for wildcard teams as well. So who do you have for division?
I mean, if one of you bias, it's the Bengals, whatever, with Joe Burrow back and all healthy. And then they got Zach Moss as a running back, replacing Joe Mixon. They lost time more in free agency, but like he wasn't really that needed. They have to lock down T. Higgins, and if they don't lock him down, this is the last year of his contract. If he does not get locked down, we're so screwed at wide receiver depth because yes, we got Jamar Chase, but can only do so much with one wide receiver. Though the defense is, I do enjoy the defense. There's some holes I need to fill. As much as I kind of hate to say this, I believe the Ravens are going to run it back. They just have a better balanced overall team, and with the addition of Derrick Henry, the offense is much more deadly than it was last year.
Yeah, and last year they were without J.K. Dobbins, who they lost first game into the season against the Texans. But if they can manage to keep their team healthy, they can be a very strong team. Maybe could take down the Chiefs again. Maybe could take down the Chiefs this time.
I hope so.
I hope so too. But yeah, I 100% agree with you. Ravens are gonna run this. They're gonna run the North. But it doesn't mean that the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Browns can run it as well. All right. NFC South. The AFC South. What are your thoughts about the AFC South so far?
Looking onto the AFC South, I mean it's the Texans division at this very moment. C.J. Stroud looks to be the best quarterback within that division, though his only real competition is Trevor Lawrence because Will Levis we've seen flashes of last year, and Richardson got hurt 4 games into the season, so we never got to see his full potential.
Right.
With the addition of Stephon Diggs to the Texans, they just got better. Whereas Diggs, and you know, as a Jets fan, he's kind of a diva. He's mouthy. He doesn't get the ball as many times as he wants. He doesn't score. He just throws a massive fit. But he's still a really good playmaker. The Jaguars, maybe they can do something, but who knows? Because they're kind of the same team as they were last year. Well, they also added Drake Greenlaw, but it was their division last year, and they just fell apart. Well, yes, Lawrence got hurt for a couple of games, but they just fell apart, and they just didn't recover from that.
They were 8-3. They were 8-3. Had the 1 seed, fell to 9-8, and missed the playoffs just like that. That was a total mid-season collapse from Jacksonville.
I'm not saying they're going to do it again, but the Texans, they went from the second worst team in the NFL to the divisional round in a single turnaround. and they're only getting better. With that logic,
they are getting
I
better.
can see them
I do
moving
agree
back.
with you. Like they got some good pickups. Like trading for Stephon Diggs, that's a good pickup, and also getting a defensive and like Danielle Hunter, like get that veteran presence right there. And they're getting Tank Dell back with a broken fibula and he got shot too. So he's coming back and he's going to be full on vengeance. Texans have a really nice receiving room. Nico Collins was awesome. Tank Dell in his rookie year, he was amazing. And Stephon Diggs and having Joe Mixon in that lineup and Dalton Schultz. My gosh, like this offense, it's like
it's not even fair.
I mean, I'm not saying like they're going to be like the best of the best, but my goodness, like they really they still managed to shine in the offseason. I think they did a good job. And yes, I am putting the Texans as division champions of the South. All right. AFC West. And for this division, right now, in this conference, they're the weakest. I believe they're the weakest because Chiefs is the only strong contender, but Raiders, Broncos, and Chargers, they will need to work a miracle to take the AFC West. Do you think the same thing?
Oh, 100%. I think the Chargers are their only real threat. It all depends if Jim Harbaugh can transition his college coaching into the NFL.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like, he would only do that if he just, signs, steals, and cheats. We'll just have another fucking Bill Belichick. But I mean, he was one of the best college coaches probably ever. Just behind Nick Saban. I don't know if he will be able to transition to the NFL well enough, especially in his first season. Because I'm not sure if we've seen things from the Chargers themselves. But they're saying the way that he runs things there is not like they ran things before, and some players do not like it. I'm not saying that Brandon Staley was better because that guy was not good at all, but it's enough to where if the players themselves don't have that healthy connection with their head coach, it's not going to go well for the team as a whole. They won't be able to have that chemistry, won't be able to connect, and they won't be able to win games if needed.
Yes, definitely. And kind of like the Bills, the Chargers also lost some key pieces. Like no more Mike Williams. Mike Williams is with the Jets. And they do not have Austin Eckler is a Commander. Like they lost They do lost some key pieces. And it's hard to decipher like what can you talk about the whole AFC West. But obviously talk about how weak it is. We can definitely agree that the Chiefs are going to be division champions in the AFC West. Of course. AFC West. Division. All right. NFC Conference. East time. Let's see. The NFC East. We have yet to have a repeating division champion from this division in 20 years. 20 years. Isn't that absurd?
That's honestly very impressive.
That is impressive. Yeah. I think it's a toss-up again between the Eagles and the Eagles and the Cowboys again. I feel like I don't know what the Giants are doing. I heard great things from Malik Neighbors, but I heard he did get injured though. So
I saw about the injury. It's nothing too terrible. It looks like it's just some like soreness or whatever. Hopefully, always wishing him a fast recovery.
Because if I hear some great things about that kid, then I do. Then I do want to see him in action in the regular season. The Commanders rebuilding phase. New head coach Dan Quinn, Jaden Daniels, the rookie quarterback, and they just got to build up. Oh yeah, and Bobby Wagner is the linebacker of the Commanders. Completely forgot. He's a linebacker for the Commanders.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that.
Nope.
We do not talk about that. What are your thoughts about? What do you think about this division?
I feel like we're gonna go for another year of somebody not repeating it. It's gonna be the Eagles taking this division, just because yes, they had that massive collapse last season, and it could be for anything. It could be the coach, it could be the players, whatever. But they fired their defensive coordinator and they brought new people in, which I haven't heard much from them. And I also don't follow the Eagles as much. But the Eagles just got better with free agency, whether the draft, whereas the Cowboys didn't do a thing. The one thing they
really
did was
thing. Like what like I can't even like that's the thing about the Cowboys in the offseason. I can't think of one thing they did in the offseason.
What are you talking about?
Talk about the Cowboys in the offseason. I can't think of
No. They actually did something.
Like what? What did they
They
do?
signed Eric Kendricks. That's their all-in move.
Wait.
That's right, he did. They did sign Eric Kendricks. And that's pretty much it.
Nope, hang on, you're wrong. Nope, you're wrong. They also brought back the man, the myth, the legend, Zeke.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Yep,
that's right. He did.
Yeah,
yeah, they did. He absolutely did.
And that's right, Anthony. They did.
That was pretty much it. Yeah, that was it. Like Cowboys didn't do anything. They didn't even do like what the Commanders have been doing, and now there's drama with CeeDee Lamb want an extension, and Dak Prescott also want an extension. If you have two great players looking for an extension, oh man, your salary cap is pegged.
And Michael's next too.
Yeah, Parsons is going to be next year.
Micah Parsons. Oh, this is going to be great. Oh, this is going to be great. Some Cowboy fans are going to be in PP City real soon.
Don't worry, Trey Lance is their future.
Yeah. The greatest quarterback to come out of the 2021 NFL draft, Trey Lance. Woo.
But what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Sorry for being late. Well, I was. All right.
No excuses, dude. But coming with the Eagles, I just don't think I can see them winning this division this year. It's because the mind of them going from 10-1 and finishing 11-6 and getting dogged on in the wild card against the Buccaneers just makes me lose a little bit of trust in them.
They pulled the Jaguars.
They pulled the Jaguars, but they managed to get to the wild card. But they're embarrassing themselves.
Exactly.
They completely embarrass themselves.
I think for the Eagles, I think they continue the NFC East tradition of switching teams because there has not been since 2004 a repeat of an NFC East winner. And I think it still continues from here. I think the Eagles will bounce back. Nick Sirianni's job is on the line after this past season. I think with the addition of Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, I think they should have a shot of winning the NFC East. So I think I have them at division champ, but what is everybody's feeling? I know Liney just said no, but
Thomas, I feel like Dallas can run it back.
Again, like when it comes to Dallas, they didn't do anything during the offseason to make them contenders anymore.
Doesn't matter because it's like what can they do against like a receivers like CeeDee Lamb, you know?
They couldn't sign anyone because of these extensions coming up.
Yeah, but it's like if Dallas needs one more chance because they know these extensions are coming up and they will need to release players next year. It's like this year will be the year that they will. Like I know the whole meme about this is our year. This is our year. No, I unironically have to say this year it needs to be their year. It needs to be their year because if it's not, they're going to be pegged because of that salary cap. And you know how much money these receivers and these quarterbacks are getting right now. And it is insane. It's insane. So for my division champs for the NFC East, yes, I'm really hoping we get a repeat for the first time since 2004. I'm going with Dallas. All right. NFC North. This could be a fun division. This could be fun. What do you guys think?
This one's gonna be an interesting division we're gonna see. I mean, like the Lions, I think that everyone's kind of put them as favorites for the most part. Packers, pretty much second favorite, or runner, or maybe fighting for that division title. The Bears are going to be interesting this year because Matt Eberflus is pretty much are in a playoffs or bust no scenario, unless that pretty much Caleb needs to succeed year one, or else it's pretty much out for him. And then you have the Vikings, which some people are kind of a little bit high, but I pretty much but overall everyone's kind of in that last place division title for the Vikings. So I think it's gonna be a fun year for the NFC North, but I think the Lions are probably the favorites so far.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, I agree with you. I do think this is the year for the Lions to win their second division win their second division champion in a row. Yeah, I do agree. And I had a hot take saying that Williams could throw 12 plus picks, which I think is about to happen because rookies make mistakes. They're going to experience some growing pains. Whatever you're Williams, you're Daniels, you are May, McCarthy, Nix. You will experience pain. You will experience growing pains. And in my opinion, all right, I hate this division a lot because of how poor it is.
What are you talking about? It's a good division.
Shut up. You don't even know what I'm talking about. The NFC South. This division.
Exactly. It's peak.
No, man. This is like NFC. I mean, at least it's not as horrible as the NFC East.
I mean, from years past, it's getting better. It's getting better from years past.
I guess. But
because you have the Bucks, still solid, but we're just trying to see how they're going to do with I guess Dave Canales is gone now, so we're going to see how he does.
He's the head coach of the Panthers now.
Yeah. The Saints. I hate this team. I think this is the only team for some reason, just not a fan of. This is the pure mediocrity level, but I just somehow think they're just that much terrible.
There's just my problem with the Saints, though, is like they're just too inconsistent.
And then the Panthers, they're either going to be still one of the worst teams or maybe a little bit improvement. And I just don't know what to expect for them.
Yeah.
And then the team that pretty much everyone's hyping up, you have the Atlanta Falcons.
I just don't see it, especially because it's like, what can Raheem Morris do with a head coach?
I mean, last time he was the head coach for the Falcons, he had a pretty terrible roster from last year. So I think working with this new improved roster, people are kind of expectations for winning a division or at least getting a playoff spot. I think they're just hoping to not go 7-10 this season. I think that's kind of the expectation for the Falcons.
That's gonna be crazy. We go the fourth season going 7-10. Oh my gosh.
But if anything, I'm kind of, at least for my opinion, I'm kind of leaning towards Bucks. But go ahead.
It's all up in the air. Gavin, what do you think?
I'm not going to buy into the whole Falcons hype thing. I'm not going to do it. I will not drink the Kool-Aid. Where, yes, they got Kirk Cousins, and yes, he is a good quarterback. They also drafted his replacement, which 4, and it became
I know
massive.
somebody. Hey, I do know somebody that did buy into the Falcons hype last year.
Okay. I thought Arthur Smith was gonna learn lesson, but yeah, on me for picking Arthur Smith for Coach of the Year.
even though I have no room to talk because I had Panthers, but it was still the fact that this division was crap. It was crap. It was like
I thought the
take small.
Falcons had the best shot. I thought Desmond Ritter was gonna prove everyone wrong. If it wasn't gonna be Desmond Ritter, I thought Taylor Heineke was gonna at least get enough wins for this division. But you know what? Congratulations for the Buccaneers last year.
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield.
They subverted everybody's expectations. Like they did.
And I did say, watch out for Dave Canales if it was gonna go well. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
But yeah, I do agree. I am putting Bucks up there as division champions.
Let's go,
right.
And then let's go, Thomas.
The NFC West. I think this is the toughest division in this conference. What do you guys think? You guys are both Seattle fans. What do you guys take?
All right, it's a new era. It is a new era. I am excited for what's to come for the Mike McDonald era. I think this is just one thing I think us fans just kind of want to see. One, our defense just hopefully does better. Like anything better than what Clint Hurtt was doing from last season. Just like because if you saw the past couple seasons in the Clint Hurtt era, the run defense was non-existent. Unless we're somehow playing the Giants, then go ahead. But otherwise, yeah. And then pretty much Shane Waldron was pretty much public enemy number one after maybe the Rams game, especially showing so many screen passes. But I'm not saying Seattle's going to win this division, but I just hope they're going to be competitive, and I'm just hoping they're going to be competitive. And just don't look ugly. They'll get some wins in the first half of the season, but then the second half of the season they just look completely stagnant.
Yeah, because last year when you guys in the beginning of last year, you guys went 6-3, but then at one point you fell to 6-7.
Yeah,
you cannot have a season like that.
All right, Thomas, go ahead.
What do you got, Gavin?
Well, everyone kind of praised the whole Mike McDonald thing earlier. Unfortunately, this is the Niners division. As much as I want it, as much as I want to throw up, this is their division. I feel like the Rams could be contenders a little bit more than Seattle, but at the same time, I just don't know when it comes to the Rams. Like everyone still thinks that at least like Cooper Kupp's still like the receiver he was years ago, which I think that he's like a little overrated now. He's a little washed. I mean, they got Puka Nacua, which was not fair in the 5th round. Like, damn, sure.
But guess what? A certain man is gone, Gavin. We're free from him.
The Band-Aid can't hurt us anymore. No more Arizona.
But they brought in Jared Verse, so
he will no longer have Juno Smith screaming, "Oh my God!"
Isn't he from Florida State, Jared Verse?
Yeah, and I think they drafted his buddy too, if I recall.
Ooh, two baby daddies. Ooh, I'm a fan of this.
But yes, this will be the Niners division for now. We'll give us a year or two, and I think we should be back on the top.
That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking, yeah, I can see the Niners winning this division. All right.
No, hang on.
These are my predictions for the division champions. What are you going to say, Gavin?
I swear to God, if Mike McDonald turns to the next Brandon Staley, I will burn Seattle to the ground. All of it.
No, man. You got to do two things. You got to blow a 27-0 lead and allowing 63 points to the Raiders. That's what you need to do.
That's fair.
All right. For wildcard teams, I'm only going to do 6 teams in that category because
3 AFC, 3 NFC.
3 AFC, 3 NFC. But
Ooh,
here's what I'm
this is
gonna
be
do.
tough.
Here's what I'm gonna do. Because I already have my mind on this. I've been thinking about who's gonna be in the wild card, but I want to see what you guys think as well as I
All
put my
right,
list on here.
I'll just start with the AFC.
Yeah,
Just
we're gonna do AFC. Here, one of my picks on here. Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. I think this is Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo's going through a retooling phase this year. And
Yes.
I think for what I know, they lost a lot of fan favorites. Yes, but I
Davis.
think pretty much a lot on defense. But I think it had to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Because their core wasn't getting younger. I know would they have competed with the core they had from last season? Yes, but would it have been the same team? No. This is I think Sean McDermott's probably. I think people are saying he's on the hot seat this upcoming season, and
Interesting.
yeah, especially for based on what the past couple seasons have been, and now they no longer have Ken Dorsey. They have Joe Brady as their new offensive coordinator. So we're gonna see how he does, but Bills are at least looking like a wild card team. But I'm kind of liking the direction if they somehow if their young players somehow develop well. I think they could be.
I can see him stepping up.
So let's just see, especially on defense. I think it's their team to look out for. But right now, it's going to be a retooling year, but they're still going to compete. They're still going to compete in that division.
They're
So
still a
wild
good
card.
team. Yeah. It's just well, me and Gavin will talk about this. We were talking about who's going to be division champions for the AFC East when I picked Dolphins. It's all about the firepower. It's like if the Bills have just enough firepower on the offense, what they have to work with Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, and they still have their tight ends, they can still do it. It's up to McDermott. If McDermott can't do it, then yeah, I would say he will be on the hot seat for next year. I don't think he is for this year, but if things do not turn out well, he will be in a hot seat next year.
I don't know. I've been talking to Bills fans, but we'll see. We'll see how the organization is feeling. But Sean McDermott is probably a name to look out for this season in terms of the seat.
Yeah. All right. My second wild card team, taking Cincy.
Yeah.
Still. Again, they were 9-8 with even when Joe Burrow being injured. It's still very impressive. For what it is. I know the 9th win was coming from a Browns team that were, resting players, but it's still impressive.
Yeah.
But, I think, but this is going to be still interesting because guess who's not there anymore? Brian Callahan. So Zach Taylor's probably going to be, I think that Zach Taylor is going to be a little more focused. There's going to be a lot more focus on Zach Taylor this coming season. So anything that happens with the Bengals is probably going to fall more on him now. But I think they should be still solid. I think they did lose a few pieces like DJ Reader. So we'll kind of see how it goes. But I think wild card is probably suitable. But I think it's going to be very tough for them to compete in this AFC. So, but still solid.
All right. What do you think,
Thomas? What do you got?
Well, yes, I would have the Bengals make the middle playoffs as a wild card team. And just like SOG was saying, throughout the new coaching, whatever, and then players leaving, players getting re-signed. We also picked up Geno Stone from the Ravens, which, if you're a Seahawks fan, you remember he had that amazing pick against Geno, which was not fair. The slightest, it was pass interference. What's up with that? I'm just kidding. But he's like a really good safety, which the Bengals kind of lacked safety depth last season. But him being a really good addition, it would kind of conceal like zone coverage or whatever. Would make it a little hard for teams to throw against. And again, no more Tyler Boyd, which kind of now the
Yeah.
Bengals will have.
You do lose your wide receiver 3.
But they still got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. But if they don't resign T. Higgins, this will be like their make or break year. If they don't win at all this year, they won't have a chance next year.
You will have a chance this year.
Their moment. If they don't make the playoffs this year, there's a lot of question marks going around this team.
Yeah. I just got a notification from X. There's been several injuries today for Lions training camp. Jahmyr Gibbs has been evaluated for a leg injury. Terrion Arnold has been evaluated for an upper body injury, and Anis Rakastra has been evaluated for an ankle injury. So in one day of practice, they have 3 players injured. Mainly, Jahmyr Gibbs is the big exclamation point right there.
Hopefully nothing too serious, but
he did well last year.
They still have David Montgomery, but yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs is a very big piece to lose still.
He's more of a speedster.
Yeah.
You need that. Like you need those two running backs because that really made them successful last year.
But final walk for AFC, who you got?
All right, I want you guys pick. I want to see what you think. What if you had one final spot remaining? Who would it be? What about you, SRG?
For me, is pretty much a spoiler for my predictions from for later on. But I am going to pick the Colts. I know it's going to be a tough AFC. I know it's going to be hard to duke it out, but I don't know. I think I am very high in the Colts. Yes, AR-15 was out from last year, but based on the flashes I've seen, I think there could be potential. As long as he stays healthy, I see what Shane Steichen is doing, and they did well with Gardner Minshew. So I feel like Shane Steichen is doing something. Jonathan Taylor is going to be a beast still. Their whole line is still very solid. Their defense is. I'm not sure what their defense is, but I think
Franklin, man, he's a beast.
I think this team's going to be something that there's going to be other teams you can argue for a wild card spot, and that's fine as well. But I'm gonna drink the Colts Kool-Aid.
What about you, Gavin? If there's one more spot,
I was also going to root for the Colts to make it.
Have you bastards been reading my mind? Because I was thinking of putting Colts.
Dude, remember last year on the Discord we had this similar situation?
Oh my god.
You people. I hate you.
Dude, because all right, we'll talk about the fight for the wildcard spots, and we'll talk about it in a minute. We'll talk about that when we get there. So, but anyways, what's your reason for the Colts?
The fact that Go ahead, you first.
Pretty much the same reasons you did. Like, I think Shane Steichen really put an offense together, even though it's like guys like Josh Downs or Alec Pierce. It's like, who the heck are these guys? But they managed to be reliable weapons for both Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew. And they have a decent run game, and I think they have one of the better defenses in the league. Zaire Franklin is becoming one of the most underrated linebackers, and I'm rooting for him the whole freaking way.
All right, Thomas, what were you going to say?
I was going to say the same thing, whereas, they lost AR, but then they had Minshew come in and almost lead him to
division title, really.
Title. It's funny because last year, Week 18, Texans Colts division title. Even before that, it was for number 1 seed or the top 5. It's funny how things happen 1 year.
Yeah.
Well, one thing a lot of people are forgetting, and as a Bengals fan, I don't forget this. When JT was out last year, Zach Moss came in and was lighting it up whenever he wasn't around.
That's good.
Zach Moss isn't there anymore. He's now a Bengal. So I don't know who their backup running back is, but I feel like if JT goes down again for whatever reason, the running game will not be as good. That might be the biggest will be the running game. It depends whether or not if JT is healthy.
Reminds me of
Yeah,
the show.
Or well, he was holding out for the first few weeks, or if we recall.
I believe he was holding out, but then he also got injured. I think he was out for a considerable amount of time.
Right.
But for the most part, I think if we're saying JT's healthy, the Colts offense is still going to be running well. So
100%. And somebody better make AR have whatever Ken Newton had that made him not get injured.
all right,
Give him some of that. He's just
All
fine.
right.
now the NFC.
And now the NFC. Yeah. Not as tough.
Hold on. No, before you start, let me get my steak ready. Just letting you know, I'm just gonna get my steak ready. And Gavin, you got your torch? Yeah, he had his torch. No torch. All right, that's fine. I'll get a torch ready. But go ahead. Just go ahead.
All
Yeah,
right.
let's go.
All right. My first pick. Eagles.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's fine. Still got 2 more spots.
Big Eagles. Yeah. So I picked the Eagles. My second wild card pick. Going Green Bay.
Okay.
I'm going
Fine.
Green
All right. But your seat's getting hotter, man. It's getting pretty hot.
You want me to say what you think I want to say?
You do it.
This is hard. This is
All right. Yeah.
this
No,
is the
honest.
tough division.
All right.
Toughest position. Let's see.
Because the NFC is an interesting year for this one, and again, you could kind of make arguments. I'm not. All right. If we're being honest. We're being real. There's the Falcons for the obvious reasons. You have the Seahawks. You have who else?
The Rams.
The Rams, yes, and then you have the Bears. Those are probably your four. Those 4 teams are going to be fighting, are going to be there for the 7th seed spot, and maybe the Giants, if everything goes well, if everything goes well. But that's kind of a tough ask. That's kind of a
my 7th seed. If I had one more team to pick for my 7th final spot. I think it's the Rams.
All right. I guess he chose wrong, man. I guess. Where's your address? Just
oh, come on.
Just wondering. Just curious.
Come on, man. Don't do that.
All right. If we're being for real, yes, the Rams are still a team to at least look out for in the wild card.
Yes.
I mean, yes. Did they lose Aaron Donald? Yes, but I still believe in him. I still believe in McVay being to make a case. So I think the only thing I just have a problem with the Rams is I'm not sure what to deal with Stafford. That first half last season, he was just in that middle of the road, and then he came back in the second half, but otherwise I see why. I see why the Rams, but I guess you got to trust Sean McVay a little bit more, and I get it.
Right. What about you, Gavin? What do you think?
Yes, I unfortunately I agree. Because the Rams, they made the postseason last year when a lot of people thought they're going to be tanking, and they more or less just got better. So by that logic, they should have another 11-6, maybe 12-5 season. I don't want them to. I want them to go back to tanking. I want them sucking. But unfortunately, I can see them being at least the 5th seed.
Right. Yeah, definitely. All right. You ready?
Fighting for the wild card.
Fighting for wild card. So what I mean by this is they are they can make it through the wild card team, or they can potentially make it. They
in the wild card mix, essentially. They're going to probably be there all the way up until week 18, possibly.
Most likely, yes. Obviously, I mean, this is no freaking question about it.
Yeah, I wonder why. It's not like they have a coach that somehow makes deal with a blood demon to go for 9 to 10 win seasons.
It's not fair.
I really want to know. This is why I'm excited for Hard Knocks. I really want a scene where Mike Tomlin just meets the Blood Demon and just makes the deal. I just want it. I just want a scene. That's all. And then I'll be at peace. I'll be at peace. Like, okay, that makes sense.
But I mean, is that your same reason? I assume, Gavin.
More or less. I mean, they got rid of Small Hands Pickett, which hardly he didn't do much. They replaced him with Russ and Fields. It looks like Fields is going to be, well, maybe Russ from what I've seen is he's QB1, but Fields, I've from what I've seen during training camp, I cannot speak. He seems to be lighting it up out there.
But in preseason, he looked a little iffish. But again, it's preseason, so we can't really gauge.
Yeah.
But it seems like Russ will at least take the mentor role. Will at least be QB1 for however long, or at least until they believe Fields is ready, or at least until Mike Tomlin believes Fields is ready. So, and they're just crossing fingers. Fields at least looks improved. That's what they're kind of hoping for. If not, then it's fine for them because it's not like they're paying Russ or Fields like hardly any money at all. So it's like they're kind of in this scenario like, all right, if it doesn't work, we'll just draft another QB.
Right.
That's kind of the mentality that's going on.
All right. My second option would be Cleveland.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, the team should be great. This team technically should be a playoff team. But we all know what's the dying question on why we're in the fighting for the wild card. And because first season in Cleveland, yes, everyone pretty much should have expected the rust because he didn't play in 2021, and then he was not going to play for a good amount of 2022. So if anyone was expecting Deshaun Watson to somehow light it up during the 2022 season, you're insane. 2023, again, you're going to experience some rust because he only played half the season, and then after that, he was going back straight to the offseason. So it's more now. It's pretty much do or die time for him, and especially it's more for Cleveland because they're going to pay him $63 million for the next 3 years.
Yeah,
all guaranteed.
All guaranteed. What about you, Gavin? I heard you were booing.
Yeah, dude.
Go ahead.
Here, I'm gonna put you under the spotlight. What do you think?
I know you got your Watson rant, so go ahead. But has he done his Jamal rant before?
No, he has not.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
We'll get there. We'll start
with your Watson rant.
Watson rant out first.
That man destroyed the QB market so many years ago to the point where every single time a quarterback gets paid, unless you're smart like Geno or Baker, you want the most amount of money in the world. You want to be the next like Elon Musk. It's not fair. It's not right. If he was like 2018, 2019 form and was doing this, respect all around, except for what he did off the field. He's a shit person. But there's all of that. And he hasn't earned anything from his contract. He got out, and Joe Flacco came in, which I had beef with that guy as well for off-the-field reasons. But he came in and looked better than Deshaun Watson. And he was on the couch for how many years? And just got up and just was killing it out there. And he was making nothing. Nothing. He was practically making a minimum wage money. And I don't understand the whole Watson hype, especially as of now. What has he done to earn any sort of hype? Nothing. I believe he should just get cut, or they bench him by drafting his replacement who plays better than him, But if they reach the Super Bowl, cut him before then, so he does not deserve his ring. He doesn't get his ring. He just gets nothing. I think that's only fair. And after that, lock him up in prison for the rest of his life. That's just me. I don't know, but that is my thoughts on the whole Deshaun Watson guy. Back to you.
Fortunately, the Browns can't cut him. They are stuck. They can't cut or trade him. They are pretty much in a very terrible financial situation. I think the Saints overall dodged a very big financial bullet if they had that same situation, because imagine the amount of the cap hell they would be stuck in.
They already are in cap hell. That's the thing.
Yeah, but remember, they were going for Deshaun. They were still going for Deshaun even with the cap hell. So if that happened plus the extension, Saints would have probably been maybe in mediocrity for the next like half decade.
Yeah. So I will put hold on. Sorry. I would put Jacksonville up here as well. I mean, they're still contenders.
Yeah. Still fighting for a wild card. It's just
you don't blow another 8-3 record and fall into 9-8 again.
I think it's just the only problem is Press Taylor. I think a lot of Jaguars fans are not really happy with him.
Who's Press Taylor?
He's the OC for Jacksonville.
OC?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's just now it's like also is whether or not Trevor Lawrence could finally take the step up that people's been saying for many years now. Because, if you're a generational talent, what's going on?
Didn't they draft a receiver this year?
Yeah, they drafted Brian Thomas Jr. pretty much to essentially replace Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
So they're just kind of hoping for him to emerge as like the next wide receiver 1 or at least wide receiver 2 behind Christian Kirk.
Right. Okay, I see that. Let's see. I was not there. Saints on fighting wild card. Because they're just inconsistent. It's like they're going to be there for some reason. They're going to be fighting for wild card for unexplainable reasons.
Yeah. All right. For me, I honestly going to say it. They should be in more mediocrity tier than anything. And it's one reason only. And I have said it so many times. Dennis Allen. Because I don't trust him. I just don't. Yes, they fire P. Carmichael. Yes, they hire Clint Kubiak. All right, whatever. Hopefully that should be hopefully that could be an improvement, but I just don't trust them. And looking at the schedule, it's not horrible, but I could see them going 1-6.
To start 1-6.
Yes, they have. Okay, so the week 1 they started with the Panthers. All right, but then the next schedule, they have the Cowboys, they have the Eagles, and then they have the Falcons. Or no, they have the Chiefs, the Falcons, they have the Buccaneers, and then I honestly think they could lose to the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton. I think they have another opponent in between, but yeah, that's like kind of their schedule right there.
That is very tough. Gavin, your name.
But yes, I have beef with Dennis Allen. This team should be at least somewhat there, but I think they should just be mediocre because they're not good enough to compete for a wild card. But yet they're not horrible to be like, okay, they're gonna tank. But I honestly think they're gonna do bad this season. I just have a feeling.
Well, it's ultimately because they overpaid for a mediocre quarterback who didn't do anything at all last season, and more or less drafted as a replacement Spencer Rattler, who seemed to be looking good in training camp and preseason. I think they should start Carr for the first maybe 4 to 6 weeks, bench him for Rattler, and just see what they have in him.
Unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen. But I see your point, though. I get it. But let's go Seahawks. Let's go. All right, fighting for a wild card. All right, I'll respect that.
I got somebody got a hot take for Denver that they could win 12 games this season.
Okay, that's
What
a
are they
delusional
supposed to-
Broncos fan. That is a delusional
What are they
Broncos fan.
supposed to-
Okay, so for my ceiling for the Broncos, I honestly think they can win 7 games. Because
I mean, yeah, I can. I'll just right now. I just
mediocre.
They're mediocre tier.
But with the Seahawks one, yeah, pretty much what we said. It's a new coach. It can go either way. But I honestly think this team still has similarities. Everyone, I think for the most part, Gino's been saying great things about Ryan Grubbs' offense, something he has never seen before. So hopefully that should sound like there's something heading to a right direction. I'm not sure. I think we're probably going to see Geno Smith in the preseason in week 3 because, he had a injury issue this last week, but I'm not sure we're going to see him play again this week. So most likely it will be between Howell and PJ Walker. And Howell didn't look too bad. But I'm just hoping. I think the one thing I'm just trying to see is the defense. That's
Right.
my main goal this season. The
I mean,
defense.
he was a defensive coordinator, so hopefully his previous title earns the hype.
Yeah, but I get it. I see why Seattle is going to be in that. People are putting him in that 7 to 9 win tier. I get it. So, still see them there. Wait, what's going on with the tiers, bro?
Nah, I was trying to build up something here. Give me one moment.
Yeah, no, go ahead, man. Or were you trying to add another row, or?
There we go. Okay.
All right.
Here we go. Hold on. There you are. Hold on. Add row.
We're gonna call it heart attack tier. Whatever the.
You know what?
Okay, so you did not. Okay, you were not gonna put him in the.
I don't know. No, you know what? That's it. I'm grinding this.
They're just in that center.
No.
Go ahead, do your rant, buddy.
All
right,
I can't tell. Like, I can't tell if they're going to be a playoff contender or they're just going to go and be mediocre and go for another 7-10 season. I think they're going 7-10. Crying out loud. I still think with all the talent we have, we're freaking wasting it. And we have no idea what we do in the offense. Like, Salah has not done anything on the offense ever since his arrival. The only bright spots that we have are Elijah Vera-Tucker, if he's healthy, Brees Hall when he's healthy, and Zach Wilson just did not do what he was supposed to do in his first 3 freaking years. Like, it was just like another cycle, another season, and witnessing another the same cycle over and over and over again. And my blood has been boiling today because of the whole Hassan Reddick situation, where even though we traded for him, he's been requesting to have another trade again. Which I'm like, why? This is like the Antonio Brown situation again. At least he wasn't having any grievances with the helmet, and at least he wasn't fighting with the freaking GM. It's ridiculous. It's like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to save the day. The Jets are going to go 11-6. They're going to go 10-7. Hell no, they're not. Aaron Rodgers is not going to be the saving grace that everybody thinks he is. I agree with that. Even my freaking dad said that, and I agree with him. Like, it's freaking absurd. Like, we have great talent on the defense, but we're wasting it. Because if we can't produce any offense with Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator, our defense is going to get tired. They're not going to care. And we're going to get freaking blasted by teams like the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Rams, the division opponents, the Steelers, the Colts, the Vikings, anybody that we need to play against this season. That's why I say it's 7-10, because we have not done anything significant to make us a potential threat. I rest my case. Oh, and Jahmyr Gibbs suffered a hamstring injury at practice.
Oh, dang.
Damn.
But all right, but at least thank you for at least giving the Seahawks hope that they can actually blow out a team. But
I just don't give a damn anymore, man.
If it was the Pete Carroll era, I mean, this game will still be close. This game's gonna be like heart attack level. but I'm not sure what to expect this season. Am I supposed to have a whole pharmacy prescription? You know what? Might as well refill the prescription.
I was about to recommend you to that as well.
Is there any good pharmacies? Walgreens? Is there Rite Aid?
Walgreens, CVS, Rite
Right, it
Aid.
doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Just
Walmart.
any pharmacy will do because you got to get that dosage. Everyone needs the dosage.
Yep. Yeah.
But all right, just continue to the fighting for the wild card. I think there's still like maybe one more team,
At
or
least
two more
one
teams.
or two. I'll just
the
put
Bears.
Vikings there. I think the Vikings can be up.
I'll say, I think for what it is, I do like Kevin O'Connell. I think I was high on him when he got hired for the Vikings. And I'm not saying Sam Darnold is going to light up the world, but I honestly think Sam Darnold is not going to be as bad as people might expect.
Mhm.
But I think I just had to be safe by putting him last in the division just to, like, because it's still unknown at the end of the day. But I don't think Sam Darnold is going to be as bad, but we'll see how it is.
All right. I think that's what I have for fighting for wild card. I'm going to start with mediocre.
Whoa, you're not going to put the Bears or the Falcons?
I mean,
it's pretty much just Caleb or bust. That's the thing.
The thing is, it's like I'm just not sure. Like Falcons, I'm not sure because Raheem Morris, we don't know what can he produce. And Kirk Cousins, I mean, he's pretty much coming off with an Achilles injury. And if he goes down, then Michael Penix, if Michael Penix has to play, then it's going to be the same results as what the Bears are going to be doing.
Yeah, and the Bears, I think I have more like 8 and 9 this season. I feel like it should be the expectation, but the sad reality is that since the Bears have not had like a good quarterback in a very long time, the expectations for Caleb are so high that it's insane. And
remember that for in Bears history, there's never been a 4,000-yard passer in a season for the Bears.
And like if Caleb does not get into the playoffs, I feel like there's going to be something going on. I think Matt Eberflus might be gone, but I think if they just get 8 and 9, I'll be fine with it. And if Caleb just looks like he improves throughout the season, then that should be the expectation. Just
Eberflus on the hot seat, what for sure? He's on the hot seat.
Yeah, and I do like Eberflus's defense, so I am excited for the Bears' defense this season. So
Right.
as long as Eberflus is on the calls.
Forgot that Keenan Allen is on the Bears.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. What do you think, Gavin?
I don't really see the Bears having much success because, again, it's just the Bears and they're fun to meme on. But they're also in an extremely tough division where they have two teams that will be in the postseason, and and the only people that we would be rivaling with will be the Vikings. Whereas the Vikings, yes, they have Sam Darnold, but they also have JJ McCarthy right behind him, and he seems to be a really good quarterback. I've seen some of his tape in training camp. I've seen some of the tape in preseason. He doesn't look bad. But they also have, Jettis. They have Addison right behind him. The defense isn't too bad. And with the Bears' current scheme, I don't think it's enough to rival the rest of the division. Whereas, they swept the Lions last year because it's all BS nowadays, and no one knows what the hell's going on within the NFL. But if they don't reach the next level, they will continue to be last division or third, trying to either A, get off of that QB carousel, or B, just, always being stuck within the top 10 of the draft picks. Because I feel like they probably could have kept Justin Fields and been just fine. But the organization is a damn joke, and they don't know what the hell's going on nowadays. And like what you were saying, when it comes to Matt Eberflus, is he really the answer? Is he the guy? Because currently he's sitting on the hot seat. They had the pieces last year, and they couldn't do anything with it. What makes them think Caleb Williams is better than Justin Fields? When Justin Fields has NFL experience.
Yeah, and man, I just had a thought in my head. Okay, I got it now. The Matt Eber's first divisional win against opponent was last year Monday night against the Vikings.
Yeah, and I think what it is that he needs to beat the Packers.
He needs to beat the Packers. I think the Packers keep on beating the Bears as the longest win streak against an opponent.
I think last time they beat the Bears beat the Packers was in 2018 was the last time. With the 2018 season that was the last time they did it, but ever since then they've been swept 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23. So it's been 10 times in a row now.
I'm looking up I'm just looking up the active streaks.
Because I know the Broncos snapped theirs last year. I think they were probably the longest with the Chiefs.
It was 16.
Let's see. It was because previously it was Jets, Patriots, Jets last one in 2015, and it was around the same time with the Broncos beating the Chiefs the last time. All right. Yeah. Yes. So the longest streak has been Green Bay over Chicago on a 10-game winning streak starting in 2019.
Yeah.
And there's actually 5 tied for second. Chiefs over Jacksonville, 8.
Oh.
Chiefs over Commanders, 8. Raiders over Denver, 8. Saints over Bears, 8. And Seahawks over Eagles, 8.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because the Pete Carroll era, yeah. That one, at least with the Pete Carroll era, that was the one thing at least I could rely on. The Seahawks being the Eagles.
Yes. So that's the streak. So Bears have last time beat the Packers 2019. So there you go. All right. Let's just get his rant out of the way first.
Oh, here we go.
What you got?
All right, let me mute.
Adam, bring it.
Hold on. Let me give an introduction. Allow me to introduce this great man himself. A great person from the Seahawks organization, Jamal Adams. Let Gavin give his rant about the great man himself.
Those of you remember, it was back in 2020. We traded 2 first-round picks for this guy, and he played all right, and then he wanted to be the highest-paid safety in the NFL. So we gave him all of that safety money for him to do nothing. He didn't do a thing. He didn't do a damn thing. It reached a point where he was either, if he wasn't healthy, he couldn't play on the field. He would just watch. He would get burnt. He'd get torched every play. It was infuriating. And any Jets fans I talk to, especially Lightning, they sit there and they laugh at their 2 first-round picks. Because one of them turned out to be Garrett Wilson, which I also have beef with that motherfucker. But that's for a different thing. When it comes to Jamal Adams, when he got cut, I celebrated. I was partying. I got drunk. It was a fantastic night. I was waiting for him to get signed. Because I've seen people going well, maybe he'll come back to Seattle as a linebacker. Now, he does that, I will straight up kill myself. I'm done. I quit. I'm no longer follow this organization. I will pack my bags. I'm gone. He got signed to the Jets. I laughed no, the Jets. Sorry, my bad. The Titans. When he got signed to the Titans, I laughed so hard. I was like, finally, somebody can endure the pain I have endured for years and years of watching this man do nothing, to waste all of this money for nothing. Honestly, I can't wait to play him in week 2 of the preseason. I can't wait. I would love to see him get burnt. Love to see it. Throw out Jake Bobo out there. Have him burn him. Hell, make D. Eskridge burn him in coverage. If that happens, I will love D. Eskridge even more than I already do, which I don't. I hope he doesn't do anything. I hope he sucks. And I hope the Titans realize what they got in this man. Though they also signed Quandre Diggs, and I love Quandre Diggs. So other than that, the Titans, please take care of Quandre Diggs for me.
But he's the best in the nation.
He can kiss my ass.
All I can say was thank you for AVT and thank you for Garrett Wilson.
Okay. I'll say robbed, offensive rookie of the year, robbed defensive rookie of the year. There we go. That's all I have to say. There was some robbings, major robbing.
The fact that it was 2 Jets players that won it, and the runner-ups is 2 of the Seahawks players. That's the most hilarious thing.
No. Kenneth Walker should have at least won that. That was some major robbing. Biggest robbing of them all my life. I'm fine with the Will Anderson one. I'm fine with that. That was at least deserved from last.
So you're saying the one for Garrett Wilson and Gardner wasn't deserved?
No, Sauce was not.
It should have been Seattle's year. Pete Carroll should have won Coach of the Year. We could have had a complete set. Coach of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and Defensive Rookie of the Year. But no. Put the overrated Sauce. Put Wilson. Which, all right, you know what? I'll give him some credit. He had to deal with a terrible QB in Zach Wilson. I'll give him some credit. But no, I'm mad more about the Sauce one. That should have been more Reek Woolen. But no. That was like some Purdy level, some Brock Purdy level robbing.
At least Sauce Gardner played all 17 games, and Purdy only need to play like less than half, and bam, he's already in a contest for Rookie of the Year.
Screw you.
Hey, man, I just speak the truth, man. That's all I'm doing.
There is one stat that a lot of people do forget is that Kenneth Walker didn't play until week 6. If you would have played,
he didn't really play fully in week 6. Didn't really play fully.
If he would have played all 17 games, it would have been a different story. He actually would have won it, but no.
Hey, I can't. Hey, man, I can't control what your players can do.
That was more because Rashad Penny was looking like a beast, and then of course he got injured once again. But I'm okay. Once again, Chris Carson, Rashad Penny could have been something, but now we have the Walker and Charbonnet era now, so hopefully they stay healthy.
Yeah.
But anyways, put the Giants in the mediocre for obvious reasons.
I'm putting the mediocre. Yep. I'm also going to put the Raiders under me.
Yeah, Raiders pretty valid. Yeah, no, mediocre for valid reasons.
Hang on, time
and
out.
I'm pretty much saying the same
Thomas,
thing.
Oh, were you saying timeout for Thomas?
You think the Chargers are actually going to be mediocre and not going to be? They won't be fighting for a playoff spot.
All right. Can I go with this one?
Ooh, be my guest.
So, all right, the Chargers. I get why you guys are excited for Harbaugh. I get it. You know, this man won a championship. And, you know, when y'all see his time with the tenure with the 49ers, I get it. I get it why. But hear me out. It's not going to take one full year and a Harbaugh just to get them to the wild card, all right? All right? It's going to take time. Herbert, I get it. He's going to do well. He is. But they're still dealing with a wide receiver issue. Yes, you got Lion McConkey. Good for you.
No Williams, no Allen.
Your tight end is now who? Will Disley. Yeah, your tight end is Will Disley, which on the Seahawks, solid. If healthy. This man's issue was just health issue as well. But I don't really have really beef with Will Dissly. It's just like he just needs to stay healthy. Their defense is still a lot of question marks. We're still not sure their defense is going to be solid. I kind of get why Gavin believes they should be fighting for a wild card, but I just don't see this team still right there yet. Maybe next year, but I still think they're going to be mediocre tier.
I mean, yeah, I just don't think they just don't have any notable weapons. I mean, like if you look at freaking Quentin Johnson, from TCU, you saw that catch. Like, what if he keeps doing that against like what he did against the Packers? It's like now what? Who's your receivers?
They're probably going to be at least 7 wins. They're probably going to at least be a 7-win team. That's what I can see.
On the Ravens' backfield, the Chargers were smart and they saw what the Ravens did with Gus and
J.K. Dobbins.
What? Let's do that ourselves.
Okay. Gus is fine, but Dobbins
can't stay healthy.
He's basically Rashad Penny with more of the name. That's what he is. He's Rashad Penny, but with more than name recognition.
Right.
But anyways, tanking. Okay, Washington, you could make an argument for mediocrity.
I say they're mediocre. And you know what? I'm going to do the same thing for the Cardinals, and I'm putting Patriots and Panthers under tanking.
Yeah, still pretty solid. I mean, Washington, again, you don't really know what this team you're going to expect, but I'm not really high on Dan Quinn for the most part. I'm glad we didn't hire him because that was kind of the worst case scenario for Seahawks fans. Like, great defensive mind. I get it. Great defensive mind. But their roster is still getting there. And they brought in a lot of older veterans like Bobby Wagner, solid linebacker, but he's getting up there in age. You have Austin Eckler. Again, he's getting up there in age. They brought in Zach Ertz for tight end. I'm not sure he's going to be tight end 1, but it still brings up some questionable moves, and then now he's going into a situation with Ron Rivera's like players that they brought in. So, I mean, I'm kind of intrigued on what Jaden Daniels is going to do with Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and where's their third wide receiver. But unless they somehow get the Brandon Ayuk trade going, maybe there's some hope. If Brandon Ayuk goes in Washington Commanders, then I could definitely see Washington gain a couple more wins under their belt. But otherwise, I think they're going to be just in the mediocre tier, maybe a 6-win team around there, 6-5 wins. Cardinals, I mean, I'm liking what Jonathan Gannon's doing, unfortunately. They have MHJ, which I don't know why he's high on fantasy. I know he's going to be the main wire's target, but still. I do like Trey McBride. Greg George should be fine. They brought in Zay Jones, which he's a solid wide receiver 2 or 3. Not bad. And then Paris Johnson, I'm high on. So, I mean, their offense is going to look interesting. Their defense, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by their defense. They should be fun. The Cardinals are going to be competitive and fun this season.
All right. What about you, Gavin?
I mean, when it comes down to the commies, they added a lot of depth within especially on the side, just like one legend in Seattle, who must not be named. But
no beef.
Kind of outside of that,
beef.
No beef. No, love them to death. But they also brought in Austin Eckler, which he's washed and he's injury prone. And then they traded away Sam Howell, which I still don't agree with. Just because he was never fully given a chance there. But then they drafted Jaden Daniels, who seems to be looking really, really good.
Blame Rivera for that.
few. But it all depends if they can put it together. But they're also in a very tough division, which really 3 teams are going to kick them to the curb, and they won't get the recognition they deserve. Whereas the Cardinals, again, their division, tough division, where 3 teams can kick to the curb and they'll not get recognition they deserve. But they have a really good offense with Murray. Now they got Mark Harrison Jr. They got Trey McBride. The offensive line has definitely improved. With the Cardinals,
And James Conner's still solid.
Oh, James Conner's great. He's good. He's really good.
But he is getting older, though, so kind of watch out. But, yeah, James Conner's still solid right now. So,
Oh, he's so solid.
This is more kind of like the same Cardinals team that was there last season. Which Cardinals team, yes, they blew the lead to the Giants, which I'm still getting clowned for. But they also went toe-to-toe with the Ravens, one of the best teams in the league last year. They almost beat the Ravens with like a mediocre squad. If they can keep that mentality up, they could possibly be like a 6 to 7 win team at the very, very least.
oh, yeah. It's funny. We didn't really talk about the Titans because we just did a whole Jamal Adams rant. But, I mean, all right. For the Titans, they low-key look underrated.
100%.
Like, because, like, Will Levis, I think it's just really like, can Will Levis, like, kind of take the step up for year 2? And then the wide receivers, Calvin Ridley, as long as he's, like, more consistent from last season, because I had him in fantasy, and he'll have either, like, the biggest game of his, like, life, like 100 yards, like, he'll look like he's back from the Falcons, but then, like, the next game, he'll, like, just, like, disappear, and it'll be, like, more on the Christian Kirk show, which I get it, which, I mean, I understand. So, I mean, their wide receivers aren't too bad. They have Calvin Ridley. He should be the wide receiver 1. D-Hop, although he's getting older, he's still solid. And then they have Tyler Boyd for wide receiver 3, which, I mean, we see him from the Bengals. He's great in that area. So, I mean, and then I do like the combo for Ty J. Spears and Tony Pollard. So this offense, yeah. So, I mean, the offense should be low-key underrated. It's just now, can the defense do something? We shall see.
Nope.
But for Jeffrey Simmons and what's their
Simmons.
I forgot.
They brought in someone else, right? Didn't they bring someone else this past offseason?
I don't know.
Their corners? Am I right now?
Wait, no. Who did they trade for the Chiefs?
Oh, it's Snead and Feed. Jerry Snead.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's who they.
And then they also signed the Devil, but they also signed his teammate Diggs, which Diggs can be good. We've seen there's been a lot of flashes of him in Seattle. The defense overall,
he's just getting older. That's the only reason why we didn't sign him. He was just getting older. Last year was kind of a down year for him, but
yeah, L'Jarius Sneed. I forgot they have. Oh yeah, they got Chidobe Awuzie from Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, that should be a decent cornerback duo, Sneed and Awuzie. So I mean, the Titans should be competitive. I think that's what it is. They're going to be competitive this season than a lot of people are thinking.
Yeah, they should be.
Not for the defense.
It's just now, can Brian Callahan put up? Can develop Will Levis? That's now going to be the question going forward.
Yeah.
But all right, let's talk about the tanking teams. I think I have the Patriots as my number one pick team this year, as like my worst team in the league.
Okay.
Now the Panthers. This one's tough because it's like I see what division they're having, but it's like I think just based on what happened last year, is just like kind of clouds everyone's like mind on what the Panthers' vision is. Especially I think the worst thing scenario was they couldn't get a first round pick for Brian Burns. That is also another thing because they could have had a first round pick for 2024 and 2025 from the Rams, but I'm glad that didn't happen. But
Scott Fritter was easily one of the worst GMs out there.
And Dan Morgan was trying to do his best. Dan Morgan is trying to do his best right now to kind of like clean up.
A lot of blame is on Scott Fritter though.
So
come on, you failed the opportunity to get 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns, and you send a 3rd-round pick to the Jets for Sam freaking Darnold.
Which, to be fair, they thought like it was going to be the Ryan Tannehill thing. So anyway, yeah, so it's just kind of like moves that had potential, but it just backfired so bad.
Yeah.
So I mean, the Panthers should be interesting. I definitely see why they're still going to be tanking, just based on there's just like a whole lot of question marks. The only player that's like probably like we're like still good about is Adam Thielen and Derek Brown.
Yeah, because he's a veteran out there.
So I mean, the Panthers should be an intriguing team, and I might say they might go 3rd, and I might put the Saints last.
I think Saints gonna finish last.
I might. I really want to see. I might want to see more in my schedule predictions, but I think I'm kind of like finalizing, everything for the most part. I think I have overall. I think based on let's see the wildcard teams you have. I think those are pretty much my wildcard teams for this year. Except switching one team if you know.
Yeah, I get your point.
But for the most part, I think I agree pretty much with the tier list you have. I think you pretty much can make arguments for some teams here and there, but for the most part, it's pretty solid.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. What about you, Gavin? What do you think of the tier list?
Seahawks should be number 1. I'm kidding. No, for one, it's like
let's just like end your stream, just like talking about whatever that just comes.
Wait, Gavin, what'd you say about the tier list? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like when it comes to the division winners, like those are clear cut. Like it's almost set in stone. Two of them could be flipped. Well, 3 actually. The Ravens, Cowboys, and probably Buccaneers.
Maybe the Dolphins too. Because Dolphins, it's kind of their division to lose as well. They're like they have pretty much the keys to push it, but like there's always like especially in December, like we seen what happened, and like they need to prove themselves to actually like compete like well. And I know they have that early season like early season success where they're like dominating every foe and looking like they're going to like destroy the AFC, but then it's like the second half of the season they're kind of like in that skid where they're good, but they're not like the great team we saw like from the previous few weeks.
Right. I get that. Like there is definitely one thing I would like to show you guys. So I was streaming. I was talking about the Big Ten, and I was looking at Northwestern because their stadium is being constructed.
Oh,
and they're playing in an interesting stadium, and I want you guys to take a look at this.
Wait, where's Northwestern located, by the way?
Illinois.
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 All right, based on what you're sounding like, it's gonna be fun. All right.
It will be. It will be. Just take a look.
What?
Yeah.
Is this the C concept that like okay, if I remember, I think because a while back there was like a concept for the Chargers when they were in San Diego to play like in the nearby the ocean to like make like a weird dual stadium with like the Padres.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So So there was like a weird concept a while back. I remember 5 Points Vids mentioning it. So it was a sort of not like a dual use, but like it was like how you have like the two stadiums next to each other, like a baseball stadium and a football stadium. So it was like they were trying to make like the seating, the audience, where they'll move it from like a retractable seating, move it from the other part near the ocean to the baseball field to the football field, so they rotate.
Really?
I'll show you later, like on the Discord, but just like, but I thought this was the concept they were showing me, but. Is this like the sea? Like they're playing in the sea?
It's like a lake. It's like a big lake.
Yeah.
It's like a.
I don't know why I said sea, but yeah, lake.
Yes, there's definitely seas in Illinois. Come on. This makes Hawaii Stadium look freaking good. Hold on. Let me pull up Hawaii Stadium. Let me look up their football stadium. Because they used to play in a big stadium, and now they're just playing wherever, I guess.
What is that concept am I just looking at?
That's just what they're going to do until that stadium is fixed.
That, like, it looked like it was produced by AI. It just...
most likely, but that's kind of like the whole concept of what they're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me.
Hey, I'll tell you this about your Jets. If Aaron Rodgers is not success, there is a man in that QB room right now that's gonna lead them to the promised land. He won a championship this past season. He won an MVP. He won a UFL MVP. Allow me to introduce y'all to Adrian Martinez. This man was playing like a god this past week. He showed everybody his UFL form, and he's going to lead the Jets to somewhere if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt once again. And the Jets learned their lesson from last year. They did not bring in the Magoo from the practice squad of the Green Bay Packers. So this time, they learned their lesson, and they actually brought in a Spring League MVP, a proven veteran, a proven caliber guy. Gavin knows him because he got owned by him this past season. DC, it was Matt Corral week 4. So they got lucky. They did not face the Martinez, but this time Matt Corral is going to own everybody in UFL in 2025.
Wow. Wow.
Go Stallions.
Why am I so shocked that you're going to make that statement?
But here's the thing. Are we going to gloss over the fact that the AFC East has 2 elite spring league quarterbacks? Like, my GOAT, Ben DiNucci, is now a Bill. Like,
oh, yeah. Ben DiNucci is now with the MVP, too. Josh Allen is in shambles now. Josh Allen's in shambles.
All right. You guys ready to see Hawaii's stadium?
Bring it on.
All right, here it is. I guess they're.
That's not as bad as I was expecting. That's
what I said. It's like at least it's not. At least Hawaii's was not as bad. Because
it looks like they're trying to make it looks like a college football / a high school football stadium at the same time. That's what it looks like.
Compare that to Texas, dude. Texas freaking they have a religion of these stadiums. Oh,
dude, Texas stadiums are insane. High school state. I've seen some of these stadiums before, like on pictures. I'm like, what is? I thought these were actual college stadiums, but some of them are high school stadiums.
Yeah, hold on. Let me show you some of these. They look like college.
It's like the Trinity of Texas football church. And I forgot the other one. I think based on Young Sheldon, but yeah. I guess some random news from Adam Schefter. Chosen Anderson got signed to a 1-year deal with the 49ers.
Yep, I saw that.
Or I guess now his name is Robbie Chosen.
I don't know anymore. It gets changed every like 4 days at this point.
Yeah, it's nothing but boing, 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 and boing.
Chosen Anderson and Chase Claypool.
All right. This is Allen Stadium that's located in Texas. It cost them around $60 million.
I think I've seen it before, but just show me.
I will. Just give you one quick second.
Hurry up, man. You gotta.
Hey, here it is. That's a high school stadium.
Dude.
That
looks better. What? Dude, the Houston Roughnecks needs to play there. I'm not even joking. That looks elite.
This is a high school stadium. Like, Texas lives and breathes football. This is their religion.
Screw FedEx Field.
Ave Maria.
That is insane.
Dude, imagine you show this to like a non-football fan, right? You're just like, yeah, you want to see a football stadium? It's like, this is the Philadelphia Eagle Stadium? Nope, it's some random high school in Texas. Wait, what?
A random high school. Crazy.
Dude, I just think the insanity of, like, imagine being like, all right, where's our education going? It's going to this. Your public education fund is going to this, people.
I mean, sadly, that's what schools have. I mean, that's what schools need to deal with, you know? Like, they have to deal with their financials. And
like, your taxes. This is the taxes you're going.
They got to deal with that.
At least they have their priorities straight.
Hey, you want to be this is how we're recruiting in college football 25. We're going to these type of high schools.
I don't think we will be allowed there.
Why is that? Why not?
We're all grown men. That'd be a little weird if we're poking.
Dude, we'll say we're alumni. Why not? We'll say we're alumni.
Okay. That's fair.
Dude, alumni will definitely are funding this too. Alumni is also funding this because of their boosters and everything. So,
fair. Respect.
Yeah, but
right.
Yeah, college.
I know you're not big into college.
Hey, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
What the hell's going on with that?
We'll be rooting for the Aztecs. Let's go. Go Aztecs. Even though I have no correlation, no affiliation with San Diego State. Besides playing a video game. All right.
But yeah, but Gavin, have you been into college football at all? Like, have you kept up with it?
I'm gonna be doing it this season. I joined a college football fantasy draft because I'm.
Oh yeah, he sent it through the chat. Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm like, all right, well,
guess
I'm doing this now.
Hey, you need a receiver. Rock with Tess Johnson. That guy's a speedster of Oregon.
If you want, I could send you the invite for it.
I'm okay. I'm gonna get overwhelmed with some stuff in real life. So, but that's fine. All right.
All right.
Well,
good.
But yeah,
this
is it. These were my predictions of the NCAA and the NFL.
I might do a breakdown soon.
I want to thank you guys so much for jumping into the stream, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
All right, have a good night, man.
You too. Yeah,
Peace.
Thanks for having us.
No problem, man. No problem.
All right, I might do another show. I might do an actual stream soon, probably pretty much similar to this. But I'll actually have my own little Google sheet But we'll see. Gavin and I need to still talk about podcast stuff, but yeah, have a good night, everybody.
My
Yes,
next
sir.
stream would be on August 29th of my first college football game between North Carolina and Minnesota. So if you guys
And
are
I will tune into that.
available,
I'm not
you guys
sure
are
I'll
available,
stream
you can
this
join in the
week,
chat.
but hopefully I might stream week 1 of the NFL season of Thursday Night Football, or maybe the Brazil game. We shall see.
Oh, I'm definitely streaming Ravens and Chiefs too. So
All right.
If I'm
right.
home from
All right,
work,
man.
I will I will pop in.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Have
I
a
hope
good
you
night,
guys
everybody.
have a great rest of your night.
All right.
Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll
Thank
see you
you for
guys next
watching.
time.
Peace.
Peace.
Deuce.